Welcome to the deep dive.
Today, we're getting into something that, well, feels pretty daunting for a lot of folks. Financial freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And we're taking a shortcut, really digging into J.L. Collins' book, The Simple Path to Wealth. It's pretty highly regarded.
It really is. And our mission today is pretty specific. Break down Collins' steps. They're meant to be non-intimidating,
Yeah.
actionable, for building real sustainable wealth.
Right.
This isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about getting choice.
Oh,
Collins basically says, look, financial freedom is having a choice.
okay.
And he argues pretty strongly that most of the complicated investment stuff out there, it really just exists to make money for the people selling it.
Not the people buying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not for you, the investor.
Okay, let's unpack that straight away.
Yes.
Because Collins says this whole journey, it doesn't start with spreadsheets and math, does it? It starts with your attitude.
That's it. A mindset shift.
Right.
You're fighting like decades of conditioning telling you to consume.
Right.
He kicks it off with that great parable, The Monk and the Minister. Remember that one? Yeah, childhood friends. One becomes this powerful, rich minister, hobnobbing with the king.
Fighting with the king, yeah. And the other, a simple monk living on rice and beans.
Super basic.
And the minister feels sorry for him, right? Offers advice. Hey, if you just learn to, suck up to the king a bit, you wouldn't have to live on just rice and beans.
Exactly.
And the monk's reply just nails the whole philosophy of this book, I think. He says, if you could learn to live on rice and beans, you wouldn't have to cater to the king.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
So simple. The goal isn't just piling up the most cash possible.
Yo.
It's getting the choice that freedom gives you. Collins admits, most of us end up somewhere in between the monk and the minister.
Sure, that makes sense.
But if freedom's your real goal, you got to lean towards the monk,
Yeah.
towards simplicity. Being truly wealthy, independently wealthy, it's as much about managing your wants as it is about the actual dollars.
So get the attitude right first,
Yeah.
then that shapes how you act.
And this mindset flows right into Collins' 3 core rules. They're like non-negotiable for financial freedom.
Deceptively simple rules. 1, spend less than you earn. Seems obvious, right?
You'd think so.
2, invest the difference, the surplus, consistently.
Okay.
And 3, avoid debt like the plague. He's really strong on this.
And the failure point for so many people is that first one, isn't it? Lifestyle just creeps up to meet income. Or worse, exceeds it.
Totally. Then you're just stuck, a slave to the paycheck.
Which leads perfectly into that phrase Collins uses, FU money. It sounds aggressive, but it's actually a definition of freedom.
It really is. It's not just a catchy phrase. It means having enough cash invested, working for you, that you're totally free from anyone else's financial demands.
You can walk away.
You buy your freedom, your resources, your time. You get to explore life how you want, not how your boss or, your creditors dictate.
And the biggest enemy of building that FU money.
Debt. Absolutely. Debt. Collins hammers this home. Debt is not normal. It shouldn't be part of your financial life.
Why is he so adamant? What are the big downsides he sees?
Well, several things. First, your lifestyle actually shrinks because those payments are just draining your income away.
Right. Money going out, not working for you.
Exactly. Second, you're chained to your job just to feed the debt monster, paying that interest.
Yeah.
And third, there's the emotional toll. Shame, guilt, feeling hopeless, it weighs you down.
And the scale of this is just wild. I saw the stat you pulled. Total U.S. debt around $12 trillion.
Staggering. It's a massive anchor, not just on the economy, but on individual lives. It crushes people's potential.
So if someone listening is in debt right now, what's the actionable advice from Collins?
He's got a clear plan. List out all your debts. Okay, then rank them by interest rate, highest to lowest.
Got it.
Pay the absolute minimum required on all of them except one.
Which one?
The one with the highest interest rate. Throw every spare cent you have at that highest rate debt until it's gone, then move to the next highest. It's called the avalanche method.
And that saves the most money in the long run, right? Minimizes interest paid.
Precisely. And going forward, avoid debt unless, and this is a big unless.
Oh, yeah.
Unless it's maybe a strategic business loan to expand something already profitable or to buy an asset that produces cash flow.
So debt for investing, maybe? But debt for, like, a new TV or a vacation?
Absolutely not. Strictly off limits in this philosophy. Debt for consumption is just digging yourself deeper.
This connects directly to another huge idea. Understanding the true cost of spending.
Yes. This is where he challenges your whole perception of money. He asks this great question, do you want to be a millionaire?
Most people would say, yeah, sure.
But Collins argues, no, what they really want is to spend $1 million. They're chasing the stuff, the car, the house, the fancy dinners.
Not the freedom the money itself represents.
Exactly. They see money as something to buy things with, not as a tool, like a seed, that can grow and earn more money for them.
That's the big shift. Seeing money as an employee, something that works for you.
Once you spend that dollar, it's not just the dollar that's gone. It's all the future dollars that original dollar could have earned. Forever.
That's opportunity cost.
That's opportunity cost. What you give up when you choose path A over path B. And with investing, because of compounding, that cost gets enormous over time.
Let's use that car example. Say you spend $20,000 cash on a new car. Money's gone.
Poof. But what did you really lose? Let's look at the opportunity cost.
Okay, let's run the numbers like you did in the prep. Say you're 25, you spend that 20K instead of investing it. We use what, maybe an 8% annual return? Pretty conservative long-term average for the market?
Yep, reasonable assumption.
Over just 10 years, that $20,000 car didn't just cost you $20,000. The lost growth means it cost you closer to $36,000.
Right, but wait, there's more. That's just 10 years.
Oh, yeah. If you're 25...
If you let that $20,000 compound for 40 years until you're 65...
Right, brace yourself.
That single $20,000 purchase cost you nearly $435,000 in future wealth.
Wow. $500,000.
Almost. For a car. That car didn't cost 20 grand. It cost you almost $500,000 of your future freedom. That's the real weight of opportunity cost. Makes you think twice about that upgrade, doesn't it?
It really, really does. Puts that mindset shift into sharp focus. Okay, so let's say we've done it. We've got the mindset, we're spending less, avoiding debt, we have a surplus. How does Collins say we should actually invest it?
Right, this simple investment philosophy. He calls the stock market the most powerful wealth-building tool ever created, period.
But most people lose money in it, or at least don't do very well. Why?
Yeah, it's ironic. The reason is purely emotional. Behavioral finance, they call it. Meaning people panic. The market has these big, scary drops. They're normal, historically speaking, but people freak out and sell low, lock in their losses.
Buying high and selling low, the classic mistake.
Exactly. And the other big mistake, thinking they're smarter than the market.
Trying to time it.
Trying to time it. Collins says flat out, it's impossible. Don't even try.
He says if you could time it perfectly, you'd be better than Warren Buffett.
Pretty much. But nobody can. People also lose by trying to pick the winning stocks or betting on some genius mutual fund manager to do it for them. Fear and greed drive those decisions, not logic.
So the complexity is the enemy again.
Always. Which leads to his solution. Indexing. Collins argues it's simpler, easier, and actually more profitable for almost everyone.
How does indexing avoid those pitfalls?
Because active managers, the ones trying to beat the market, they mostly fail. The stats are brutal. Over 15, 20, 30 years, something like 82%, maybe even more, of actively managed funds don't beat the simple index they're measured against.
Wow, 82% fail to beat the average.
Yeah, so indexing just says, okay, I'll take the average. You buy a slice of every stock in a particular market index. You accept the market's overall return.
You're essentially betting on the whole system, not trying to pick the winners within it.
Exactly. You put all your eggs in one very big, very diversified basket, and then this is key, you pretty much forget about it.
Forget about it. But what happens when the market tanks? It drops 20%, 30%. That urge to panic must be huge.
That's where the long-term commitment comes in. You have to internalize that drops are normal, they're temporary. You ignore the news, the experts yelling on TV.
So what do you do during a crash?
You see as a sale, a gift even. Every dollar you invest when the market's down buys way more shares of these great companies. Your long-term success is basically inversely proportional to how much you tinker and react. Less is more.
Okay, less is more. So to actually do this, what are the tools? Collins boils it down to just 3 things, right?
Just 3 core asset types: stocks, bonds, and cash.
Let's take stocks first.
Stocks are your engine, your wealth builder. They give the best long-term returns historically. And crucially, they protect you against inflation.
Explain that inflation hedge part again. How does that work?
Think about it. If prices are rising everywhere that's inflation, the actual companies you own shares in can usually raise their prices too, for their products, their services.
Ah, so their profits keep pace with inflation.
Generally, yes. So the value of your shares, which represent ownership in those businesses, tends to rise with inflation over the long haul. Like Buffett says, if the company's solid, you just hold on through the bumps.
Makes sense. Okay, second tool. Bonds.
Bonds are generally steadier, less volatile than stocks. When you buy a bond, you're basically lending money. to a company or maybe the government.
A loan.
Yeah, for a set time at a set interest rate. They act as your deflation hedge.
How so?
If the economy shrinks and prices fall, deflation, the fixed amount of money the bond pays you back buys more stuff than it did before. Its purchasing power increases.
Gotcha. And the risk for bonds is the opposite, inflation.
Exactly. Inflation erodes the value of those fixed payments. Also, interest rate risk is a thing if you sell before maturity. If market rates go up, the value of your existing lower rate bond goes down.
Right. And the third tool.
Cash.
Yeah.
Good old money in the bank. This isn't really an investment for growth, it's your safety net for everyday expenses and those unexpected emergencies.
Like an emergency fund.
Precisely. It's great in deflation, like bonds, its value goes up. But in inflation, its buying power gets eaten away pretty fast. So you only keep what you need for short-term security.
So stocks for growth and inflation, bonds for stability and deflation, cash for emergencies. How do you mix them? Does Collins give ratios?
He does, and it depends heavily on where you are in life, your stage.
Right.
During your working years, what he calls the wealth accumulation phase, especially when you're young, he suggests being really aggressive, maybe even 100% stocks.
100% stocks. Wow. Which ones?
He specifically champions the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, VTSAX.
Let's define that quickly. VTSAX.
It basically owns a tiny piece of almost every single publicly traded company in the U.S., thousands of them. You're betting on the entire American economy.
And why Vanguard specifically?
Because Vanguard has a unique structure. The fund investors actually own Vanguard, so there's no conflict of interest. Their goal is to keep costs super low for you, the owner. He also mentions their Total Bond Market Fund, VBTLX, and Total World Stock Fund, VTIAX, for international diversification.
Okay, but back to that 100% stocks for young people. If the market crashes, say 40%, and that's all you own, how do you psychologically handle that?
That's the discipline part again. You have to truly believe that crashes are temporary events on a long-term upward trend. And your biggest advantage when you're young?
Time.
Time. Decades of it. If you have 20, 30, 40 years until you need the money, a crash today is almost irrelevant. You just keep investing regularly, buying more shares on sale, and time will smooth out the volatility. Time is the ultimate risk mitigator for stocks.
Okay, that makes sense if you have the time horizon. What about when you get closer to retirement, the wealth preservation phase?
Right, then the goal shifts. You need a smoother ride. You can't afford a huge drop right when you need to start drawing income, so you accept lower potential returns for less volatility.
How?
By adding bonds.
Exactly. You start shifting your allocation towards bonds. A common suggestion Collins mentions for this phase is maybe 75% stocks, 20% bonds, 5% cash, something like that.
And managing that shift, the rebalancing, can be work.
It can, which is why he also suggests target date funds, or TDFs, as a great, super simple alternative, especially inside a 401k.
How do those work?
They automatically adjust the stock bond mix for you over time. They start aggressive when the target retirement date is far away and gradually get more conservative, adding bonds as you get closer.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it.
Very simple path indeed. Okay, so this leads us towards the finish line, actually achieving financial independence, or FI. How does Collins define that point?
He uses a simple metric. FI is when you have saved up 25 times your annual expenses.
25 times expenses, okay.
And that number directly connects to the famous 4% rule.
Explain the 4% rule. It's a guideline based on historical data that suggests you can safely withdraw 4% of your total investment portfolio value in your first year of retirement. Then you adjust that dollar amount for inflation each following year.
And you likely won't run out of money.
Historically, over a typical 30-year retirement, there's a very high probability your money will last and likely even continue to grow. It's a rule of thumb, not an ironclad guarantee, but a solid starting point.
Okay, now we need to tackle something that causes a lot of debate, even among people who like Collins's ideas.
Yeah.
His really strong stance against debt, especially mortgages.
Yeah, this one gets people fired up.
He calls houses a terrible investment. Why? I mean, homeownership is the American dream for many.
He sees them purely as liabilities, not assets that make you money. You've got constant costs.
Yeah.
Maintenance, property taxes, insurance, plus all that interest paid to the bank over decades.
Okay, those are costs, sure.
But maybe more importantly for him, it's about inflexibility. Owning a house ties you down. You're stuck geographically. It makes it harder to move for a better job or just a different lifestyle.
So he prefers renting.
He argues renting gives you peace of mind and flexibility, and you can take the difference in cost between renting and owning all those costs we mentioned and invest that instead.
But what about the counter argument? Stability. Predictability.
That's the big one.
Getting a low-rate, 30-year fixed mortgage locks in your housing payment for decades. Rent just keeps going up and up over the long term, usually faster than inflation. Doesn't that fixed payment provide huge security?
That's absolutely the compelling counterpoint. It provides stability against rising costs, plus a mortgage gives you leverage.
Leverage.
Yeah, you control a large asset, say a $400,000 house, with maybe only $80,000 down. That's leverage. And unlike borrowing to buy stocks, if the house value drops, the bank doesn't usually call the loan demanding more money as long as you make your payment.
So it's arguably safer leverage.
You could definitely argue that. It's probably the safest form of significant debt available to most people.
So this really highlights that even on the simple path, there are nuances. It comes down to individual priorities, doesn't it? Flexibility versus predictability.
Absolutely. Collins gives you the framework. You have to decide what matters most to you within that framework. There's no single right answer for everyone on the house issue.
Okay, last point of potential contention. Collins says something pretty controversial, that achieving FI has nothing to do with how much you earn.
That one definitely raises eyebrows.
Because intuitively, it feels like earning more makes it way easier, right?
It does. And he acknowledges that high earners can get there faster. But his point is about the sufficiency of income versus the necessity of discipline.
Okay, explain that.
He uses examples we all know. Doctors, lawyers, athletes earning huge sums who end up broke because they spend it all and then some. Their spending addiction wipes them out.
We see those stories all the time.
Conversely, he points to stories, maybe less common but real, of people with very modest incomes, janitors, teachers who achieve financial independence through incredible savings discipline over decades.
So discipline trumps income.
That's his core argument. While earning more obviously helps, saving a high percentage, he throws out numbers like 50% of your income is objectively harder on a lower salary, no question.
Yeah, saving 50% of minimum wage is practically impossible.
Exactly. We have to acknowledge that reality. But his fundamental point remains. Discipline is the key ingredient. High income might accelerate the journey, but discipline is what makes the journey possible at all. You're not doomed if you earn less, and you're not guaranteed success if you earn more. It all circles back to rule number 1.
Spend less than you earn.
Spend less than you earn.
Wow. Okay, this has been a fantastic deep dive into what seems simple on the surface, but has these important layers. So to wrap up Collins' simple path, it's really about discipline, first and foremost.
Unwavering discipline.
Avoiding complexity like the plague.
Yep, complexity benefits the seller, not you.
And a long-term, almost Zen-like commitment to simple broad market index investing.
That's the path. And the key takeaway, Collins is very clear. There's no magic formula, no guarantee you'll get rich.
Right.
But sticking to simplicity, being patient, tuning out the noise, that dramatically increases your odds. You're letting the power of the global economy work for you instead of trying to outsmart it.
We talked a lot about the financial cost of bad choices, that opportunity cost, the $20 K car costing $500,000. But let's end with a different kind of cost.
Okay.
The non-financial costs of complexity. Think about it all the time. The mental energy people spend trying to pick stocks, timing the market, reading endless forecasts, worrying.
Oh, yeah. The hours spent researching, tweaking portfolios, stressing over every news headline.
That time, that energy, that anxiety, isn't that your most valuable asset, really?
It absolutely is. Your time and your peace of mind.
So, the provocative thought is, what could you gain back not just in money, but in life, in energy, in focus, by truly embracing this simple path? By automating your finances and letting them run quietly in the background.
That freedom connects right back to the monk and the minister, doesn't it?
Exactly. Maybe the ultimate value of the simple path isn't just the wealth it builds, but the non-financial freedom it unlocks along the way. The freedom to just live.